In continuation to the previous topics, next topic for today is kingdom Protista. I would like to tell you that kingdom Protista is considered to be a link between the plants and the animals. It has characteristic features of plants as well as animals also, therefore it is considered to be related to both plants and animals. The members of this kingdom are known as Protistants. They are very commonly found in and around us. The Protistants includes all single celled eukaryotic organisms, that is, they have distinct cell organelles and a very defined nucleus inside the cytoplasm. These are single celled eukaryotes. Earlier we talked about Monera, in which the bacteria were included and they all were prokaryotes. Now we have eukaryotes. Protistants are mainly aquatic organisms, that is, they are found inside the water, and they can reproduce both asexually and sexual methods. So this is about Protista. Now kingdom Protista is mainly divided into four main groups. The first one being the dinoflagellates. Then we have in kingdom Protista there is chrysophytes, we have protozoans, and then we have euglenoids. So firstly, if I talk about chrysophytes, the meaning of word chrysophytes, chryso means golden in color and phytes is basically plants. So it includes golden plants or the golden algae as well as the diatoms. Diatoms is considered in Protistants, and it is also studied sometimes in plankton also, because it drifts with the flow of current. Therefore, they are studied in plankton also. So these chrysophytes, they are found mainly in water, fresh water or marine water. The diatoms particularly, they are the chief producers or the main producers in seas and oceans, and the cell wall of these diatoms is very tough, and it is basically made of silicon. Silicon is tough, and after this, the death of this diatoms, the silicon cell wall being very tough does not decompose and gets accumulated down under the sea. You have heard of diatomous earth, sometimes you hear of this term. So the accumulation of these diatoms inside the sea bottom creates this diatomous earth. It is useful also, it is used in some medicines, industries, in making some cosmetics, talcum powder, etc. So this is useful also. And this chrysophytes, as I told you, they are golden algae. Then next we come to euglenoids. As the name suggests, it includes euglena like organisms. You have heard of euglena, and it is very commonly studied microorganism. So euglenoids, they are mostly fresh water and mainly found in stagnant water. It is not flowing, it is accumulated or stagnant water. Euglenoids are mostly found in that water. They have instead of cell wall, they have a layer which is very rich in protein and is known as pellicle. So the cell wall does not exist, and there is a pellicle which is made of rich proteins. As the names, euglenoids, they have two flagella basically, and one may be long and one may be shorter flagella. They are photosynthetic when the sunlight is available, and they can be heterotrophs in the absence of sunlight. Like you might have seen the structure of euglena, it has some chlorophyll also. When sunlight is available, it prepares its food and it is autotrophic. When the sunlight is not present, it behaves like heterotrophic organisms, and it feeds on smaller microorganisms like bacteria, etc. So both ways it can work, and euglena is a very common example of euglenoids. Next group we talk about is dinoflagellates. As the name suggests, they also have two flagella. Dinoflagellates, they also have two flagella, they are photosynthetic autotrophs, that is, in the presence of sunlight they do photosynthesis, and autotrophic in nature, they prepare their food. Then different kinds of pigments, color giving pigments, for example xanthophylls, chlorophylls, carotenins, they are present in different kinds of dinoflagellates. So, because of the presence of different kinds of pigments, these dinoflagellates can be red, green, yellow or brown in color. This is the important point of the dinoflagellates. Then the cell wall of these dinoflagellates is made of cellulose plates basically. The most of them have two flagella, as I told you. You might have heard of one more phenomenon which is known as red tides. What is red tides and how they are caused? The meaning of red tide is sometimes the color of the sea or the oceans, it appears red in color, and when and with the flow of this air or water, this when tide comes, all of it appears to be red in color. So, this is called red tide. How it is formed? What is the reason of this red tide? The reason behind the red tides is this dinoflagellates, particularly the red dinoflagellates. Some kinds of this red dinoflagellates, they accumulate in the seawater because of a very rapid or fast multiplication. They grow in huge numbers in the sea, and with the flow of current they accumulate on one side, or with the wave they come, and whole of the wave or the sea appears to be turned red in color. So, this phenomenon is named as the red tides. The red tides are also associated with some harmful effects, and these are that they release the red dinoflagellates, sometimes they also release some toxins, and when they are so much in number, the amount of toxin increases, and this can be fatal to some aquatic organisms also like fishes. So, the toxins released by these dinoflagellates during the red tide period also causes mortality of organisms, aquatic organisms like fish. This phenomenon is widely studied now, and the toxins released and everything is a topic of research nowadays. So, dinoflagellates. Next group of the protistans is known as this protozoans. You have heard of protozoa. Protozoa is like animal like protistans. They do not have anything related to plants, no pigment, no chlorophyll, they are not photosynthetic, they are not autotrophs. So, these protistans are towards animals, they are animal like protistans. Earlier, as I told, this euglenoids, these chrysophytes, they are more like plants. So, they are plant like. Protozoans is a very big group. It includes single cell eukaryotes, and they are all heterotrophs, that is, no point they can make their own food. They are dependent on other organisms for their nutritional requirements. They live as predators or sometimes as parasites also. What are parasites? The organisms which live inside or on other living things like plants, animals, and acquire the nutrition from them are called parasites. So, these protozoans are predators also, they feed on others and they live on others also, that is, they are parasitic also. The protozoans can further divided into 4 groups. First is the amoeboid protozoans. Like the name suggests, they are like amoeba. What picture comes into your mind when we talk about amoeba? Amoeba is an organism which does not have a very particular shape. It can change its shape according to need. So, the amoeboid protozoans, they are also like amoeba. They can change their shape as and when required. They can live in water, they can live in soil. Amoeba is also found in soil. They are found in sea water also. So, they can survive in very vast conditions. Next important thing about these amoeboid protozoans is they have pseudopodia. Pseudo means false and podia is always related to feet. So, they have a sort of false feet. Why they have false feet? Because they move, they locomote, but they do not have true locomotive organs in the form of legs, feet or anything like that, but still they move with the help of false feet. So, these pseudopodia, they help these amoeboid protozoans in locomotion as well as to capture their prey or food. So, how does that happen? Think about the structure of amoeba. The pseudopodia engulfs, the pseudopodia enlarges themselves, supposing there is some prey or food particle for the organism. The pseudopodia start enlarging themselves and move towards the whole body of the organism, shifts, again they move pseudopodia, again the body shifts. This way they can move towards the food particle, and then how they capture it. With the help of their pseudopodia, they surround the prey or the food and simultaneously engulf it, and after engulfing the pseudopodia, it again changes its shape. This is how they move and they capture their food with the help of the false feet or pseudopodia. The very common examples, as I already told, is amoeba. And what about the parasitic amoeboid protozoans? The example is this ant amoeba. There are many species of ant amoeba, for example ant amoeba gingivalis. It causes pyrrhia, which is a dental disease. So, this ant amoeba gingivalis is a kind of parasitic amoeboid protozoan. Next type of protozoan is the flagellated protozoans. Again, it is very obvious from the name that it has flagella. The flagellated protozoans have flagella, which is again organ for locomotion. They can also be free living or parasitic. Free living means they live on their own, they survive on their own, and parasitic is they live on or inside other organisms, they are parasitic. Some these flagellated protozoans are disease causing. They cause diseases in plants or humans and all. For example, you have heard of trypanosoma. Trypanosoma is an example of flagellated protozoans, and what disease it causes? It causes a disease which is known as sleeping sickness in humans. So, they are mostly parasitic. Then the next category of protozoans is ciliated protozoans. You have heard of cilia? Cilia, what are cilia? Cilia are again the organs of locomotion for these protozoans. And these cilia are not 1, 2 or 10 in number, they are thousands in number. Think about the structure of paramecium. Paramecium is an example of the ciliated protozoans. All around the body of paramecium, this cilia are present, they are thousands in numbers. So, ciliated protozoans, they are again like paramecium, they are aquatic in nature, they are found in water. And one more important thing when you think of this paramecium is it has a cavity like structure which is known as a gullet, mouth like structure. But how does it take its food? The food along with the water current goes inside the body of the paramecium through this gullet or the cavity like structure. What is cavity? Oh, a blank space inside, hollow space inside. So, the food along with the water current goes inside the body of the paramecium through this cavity called gullet. The food particles remain inside and the water comes out of this gullet again, leaving the food behind. So, this way this gullet or the cavity helps these paramecium or these ciliated protozoans in taking their food. Next in this Protozoans is very important. These are known as sporozoans. Why they are called sporozoans? Sporozoan, protozoa. Because they have a small spore-like but infectious stage in their life cycle. It will be more clear when I give you an example. For example, the malarial parasite, you have heard of it. Malarial parasite is Plasmodium vivax, which causes malaria, and it is caused by the bite of female Anopheles mosquito. You have studied previously this life cycle of Plasmodium vivax. The infectious stage is the one which is present inside the body of female Anopheles mosquito. And what is that infectious stage? A spore-like stage. And when this mosquito bites humans, this spore-like infectious stage in the life cycle of Plasmodium vivax is transferred into the human blood, and when it comes in contact with the human blood, it causes infection. So, this type of protozoans which have a infectious spore-like stage in their life cycle are known as sporozoan protozoa. And I have told you the example, that is the Plasmodium vivax. So, this is all about the kingdom Protista. Protista, as I told earlier, is important in biological classification because the members of Protista are found to be, some are found to be close to the plants, some are found to be close to the animals. Some have some characteristic features which are only of plants, like I have told you, some are photosynthetic autotrophs also, but some are heterotrophic, that means they are more like animals. So, this kingdom is considered to be a link between the higher kingdoms and the lower kingdoms, between the plants and the animals. So, this is the importance of kingdom Protista.